Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. So with Tyson Fury, look, Tyson Fury's on fire. We got to give him his credit for the position that he holds right now in the heavyweight division. Some say he earned that position, but other people don't really feel that Tyson Fury's that he's done it on his own, okay? Now, we understand that Tyson Fury is saying he's going to fight Usyk for the undisputed distinction at heavyweight. And I truly believe, although the fight will be interesting, I believe Tyson Fury, just because of his size, when I say size, I'm talking about his height, his reach, that alone, and then you couple that with his boxing IQ and his movement and the power that he has, right? Just, I want to call it newfound power because he wasn't really hitting people and knocking them out like what he did to Deontay Wilder, like what he did to Dillian White. Now, yeah, Tyson Fury does have a lot of, he has a lot of stoppages, so you got to give him credit for that, but not necessarily a one-hitter quitter type guy. Kind of breaks you down, but nevertheless, you got to give Tyson Fury the advantage, and you got to. I think it's only fair to say that he should be the betting favorite going in against Usyk. But he says after Usyk, he wants to maybe fight Joe Joyce, which is a very difficult fight. But then after Joe Joyce, he's talking about getting to Las Vegas and doing Wilder Fury 4. Now, when he mentioned Deontay Wilder's name, I noticed that he always says something very positive about Wilder in regards to Wilder's power. So it made me feel like maybe he doesn't really want to do the Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder 4 bout, because Tyson Fury has gone on record and said that if he and Wilder fought 10 times, that he feels he will beat Wilder 9 out of the 10. And when you look at that third fight in particular, the type of damage that they both inflicted upon each other, I think it's only right to maybe assume, and I don't like assuming, but I'm going to go ahead and assume that Tyson Fury, he knows he barely escaped that ring with a win against Deontay Wilder in that third fight because they both were hurting each other. But Tyson Fury got hurt in multiple rounds. See, I think the fact that he was being hurt was being overshadowed by how Deontay Wilder, it almost like lost control of his body in the ring. He was just so tired and just fighting off of like heart, man, that when he was hurting Fury, I think the biased eye probably didn't notice. But if you haven't watched that fight a second, third, or fourth time, and you think Fury just basically went in there and dog-walked Deontay Wilder, you need to watch it again. Fury got hurt multiple times throughout that fight. And a few of those times came towards the end of the round. Now, Fury did show the champion's heart. He found a way to win. So it is what it is. But I think there's some things we need to really understand to get a better idea on Tyson Fury, his road to redemption when he decided to return to the ring after he was weighing damn near 400 pounds. We need a better understanding of how he went from wanting to kill himself to all of a sudden end up in a position where he's back to boxing. He drops all this weight. He's getting these wins. And he gets into the ring with Deontay Wilder. Then you have all this drama, right? Because there's still a lot of people who feel that Deontay Wilder is just a sore loser. He's just making things up. There's no way in the world there was any foul play on Tyson Fury's part. There's no proof of anything. And I hear you. But I'm going to say this, man. I do feel that from where there's smoke, there's fire. Okay? Now, a couple of things that I think people should know. Okay? Now, Tyson Fury was, before he had all the struggles with drugs and depression and everything, he was the number one boxer in the sport, okay? But he became obese, he had struggles, he retired from boxing, he talked about his issues with alcohol abuse, cocaine, and even wanting to kill himself, right? Now, this is something that I didn't know, but I just came across this. I thought it'd be interesting to share with everyone. Tyson Fury's former trainer, Ben Davison, he created his comeback, right? Or he helped to credit Tyson Fury's comeback to Tyson Fury's advisor, agent, and event promoter, Daniel Kinahan. Okay, now this is what Ben Davison said. Now, you guys are probably saying, what does that matter? Remember, Tyson Fury, Bob Arum, for those who didn't know, right? He paid Daniel Kinahan $4 million in consultation fees for 4 of Tyson Fury fights. Okay? It was, he had the first 2 when he returned. One of those were Otto Wallen. Okay? Then those last 2 were against Deontay Wilder. Now, Bob Arum paying someone consultation fees for boxing. I mean, you form your own opinion on that. But to me, never quite understood why Bob Arum would be paying any kind of money to anyone for boxing consultation fees. Now, maybe it's for a tax write-off. Maybe it's normal protocol for promoters who've been in boxing over 40 plus years to come now and need advice from a mob boss. Okay, so we just give them $1 million per fight to consult and help get our guy back on track. Now, Ben Davison referred to Kinahan as a godsend to Fury. Okay, now that's what Davison said in a book. Okay, he said Kinahan was a godsend. Now, the thing about this, right, is the Kinahan organized crime group, by now everyone knows Kinahan, Irish mob boss, etc. There's a couple of things about this that I just want to point out. We know it was an organized crime group, but what they had interest in were hard drugs, weapons, and according to Special Criminal Court, specialized in execution-style murders, okay? Now, this isn't anything I'm making up. Now, this is the stuff that cannot be proven when it comes to Kinahan and his involvement, right? That's factual. But supposedly, Tyson Fury, with his platform and name, remember he came and he set up shop in the United States, bought a couple of houses, one in particular in Vegas. Supposedly, there was some kind of trafficking of guns or weapons that was happening, and that's tied to the Irish mob boss and was being worked through the Fury name. Now, I tried my best to find information out about that, and I couldn't. But this is something that surfaced, so I just felt it was worthy to mention that, since we're talking about Fury, Kinahan, Wilder, and if there was foul play, and the fact that Fury talked about returning to Vegas to fight Wilder. Remember, Fury has a house there, but Fury can't come to the States, okay? And as far as I know, nothing's changed. Now, this is something else that I wanted to point out, right? Davidson and Tyson Fury, at the time and now, they weren't linked to any criminality. There were a lot of suspicions. There were a lot of rumors about Tyson Fury in particular, right? But nothing concrete. But it's very interesting, okay, that Tyson Fury became involved with this guy who was referred to as being Godson. Now, Tyson Fury became hooked up with Kinahan back in March of 2017. Now, I'm not making that up. You can look. They've taken selfies together and everything else. It's all out there on the internet if you guys want to go and see. Now, the period of time where they met, Tyson Fury and Daniel Kinahan, it was very significant to Tyson Fury because he was at a point where he had considerable public image problems in the UK. And because, remember, Tyson Fury made the sexist joke, the racist comments regarding women and Jewish people. And I'm not going to say what he said, but you know, it's out there what he said. And then in 2016, a year before that, remember, the UK anti-doping agency suspended Fury after drug test samples reportedly showed he had elevated levels of nandrolone metabolites. Okay? I'm not making this up. This is fact. These are facts. So the organization said that the following year that Fury never knowingly or deliberately committed an anti-doping rule violation. Okay? So he ended up resuming his career in June of 2018. Okay, after nearly 3 years, after nearly 3 years of a hiatus, he decided he was going to return after clipping Vladimir Klitschko. Now, those 3 years being away from the sport were very difficult years for Tyson Fury with a lot of issues. Now, again, it says that his relationship with Kinahan is what motivated Tyson Fury to get back into the ring. Tyson was questioning everything about himself, even his own existence. Okay? Now, this is in the book Clash of the Clans. This is all, remember, he had his trainer, Ben Davison. They were very close. And then remember, he cut Ben Davison after the first Deontay Wilder fight, too. To have somebody come along and say, don't worry, I believe in you, I got your back, was a godsend to him. Daniel gave him the footings to start again, a positive outlook and a pathway back to the top. It was huge for Tyson. Now, I'm going to read that again. Daniel Kinahan comes along. You got Tyson Fury, no motivation, doesn't want to do anything. He's having it rough, right? His wife can't motivate him to get back to the top. His dad can't. His kids can't. Nothing. No one. But this mob boss comes along and says, don't worry. I believe in you. I got your back. I'm going to give you the footing to start again. A positive outlook and a pathway back to the top. A shoulder to cry on is what Kinahan gave Tyson Fury. And a plan of action to get to where he is right now. So when you talk about that sparkling future and sharing with Tyson Fury that he can attain unimaginable wealth, where all of his worries will be left behind. Those are not my words. Those are the words from Kinahan to Tyson Fury. That I'm going to be able to show you sparkling future, one of unimaginable wealth, where all the worries will be left behind. That's crazy. So Tyson Fury goes to this man's wedding in Dubai, 2017. Supposedly criminals from all over the world were there. Now, you can't tell me Tyson Fury wasn't aware of some of this stuff. He's a brilliant man. Can't tell me he wasn't aware of the crowd that he was around, okay? So now, you just get that understanding, okay, of Tyson Fury and Kinahan, and Kinahan presented Tyson Fury kind of like an opportunity to get back into boxing and get back to the top, right? Now, this is the thing. Tyson Fury goes on, right? And he makes a statement about when he felt he had one of the biggest fights in boxing. He says, I'm just after getting off the plane with Daniel Kinahan. Fury began his message. He just informed me that the biggest fight in British boxing history has just been agreed. Get up there, my boy. And he goes, big shout out to Dan. He's got this done. Now that is when he was trying to get everything across the line for Anthony Joshua. Now we all know that fell apart, okay? So I'm gonna stop there because I'm gonna peel this back to that Otto Wallin fight where Tyson Fury fought him. You guys remember Tyson Fury got a really, really bad cut in that fight. That kind of cut, I don't know how many of you when you were watching that, but I was watching that thinking, why haven't they stopped this fight? Even the commentators were saying, why haven't they stopped this fight? Okay? So Tyson Fury dodged a bullet and was allowed to get to the finish line and win a decision. A lot of people thought he lost that fight. Okay? But at the time, I didn't really think anything of it because I didn't know anything about Kinahan. I didn't suspect any foul play with Tyson Fury. Okay? But now when you think about it, makes you wonder. You got someone working with the mob boss, someone who has ties to boxing, someone who can make things happen, right? Create a pathway to unimaginable wealth back to the top of boxing. And he's being paid consultation fees by Bob Arum to help make fights, to help promote fights for Tyson Fury. It should make you wonder a little bit if there was some kind of foul play. Now we can sit here and say, well, look, there's no proof that he did anything. Well, hell, there was no proof that that judge or that referee at the time where he gave Manny Pacquiao that damn near 20 count. There was no proof or any suspicion of foul play with the crap he pulled back then. But then he comes out now all these years later and says he knows how to make a long count, and people approached him and talked to him. All I'm saying is, if someone approached that referee to talk to him about some things and say this is kind of the direction the fight needs to go, if you have a mob boss like that in your corner, you're telling me that his tentacles don't reach to sanctioning bodies, his tentacles don't reach to judges, his tentacles don't reach to referees, his tentacles may not reach to the opponent's team. I'm just saying, the corruption in boxing, right? So maybe there was a little foul play in that Wallin fight. So let's fast forward past that. Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder in the first fight. Now, I watched that fight. Tyson Fury, to me, looked like he just boxed a pretty magnificent fight. The big knockdown happens, right? And we're all watching that. Tyson Fury looked like he's out cold. Well, he was out cold. Those aren't my words. He said he was knocked out cold. And then he came to. Referee, if you watch that, right? A lot of people felt the referee was trying to wake him up. The referee was trying to get his attention. The referee, it wasn't a normal count. Okay? I went back and I watched it. And I watched that referee when he's reffed other fights. I think he handled that count with Tyson Fury a little weird. Okay? I think he handled it a little bit weird. All right? Tyson Fury gets up. A lot of people felt the count was long. I was one who said, you know what? There's no proof. Tyson Fury just got up, and it is what it is. And they continue fighting. Tyson Fury's kind of getting the best of Wilder, ends up in a split decision, right? Now, Tyson Fury looked like he won majority of those rounds, but you can't tell me, for Deontay Wilder, who knocked Tyson Fury down twice in that fight, and I watched that fight several times. Wilder won a couple rounds early in that fight, in those early rounds. He won a couple. But with the 2 knockdowns out of 12 rounds, right? You got 2 rounds, we got the knockdowns. You can't tell me he didn't pick up 3 or 4 of those other rounds, or even 3 of those other rounds. So what I'm saying is, at the time I didn't think much about it, but when you think about it now, with this guy, Tyson Fury, having this guy in his corner that's going to get him back on a path to unimaginable wealth and the top of the heavyweight division. Are you guys really going to sit here and say it's not possible that maybe there was some foul play from someone who's a murderer? The same murderer involving drugs and weapons and other things, who is promoting the fight of someone who wanted to kill themselves, who's being paid $1 million by a boxing promoter who's been in the game for over 40 plus years. So you guys want to tell me that this all makes sense, right? So then the whole thing about gloves, right? You have the second fight, then there's a whole thing about gloves and Mark Breland and, some fluid that was being given to Wilder to drink, okay? Then Wilder wearing this big, heavy costume, and it's all kind of stuff. And it's, to be fair, there was talks about how Wilder, he's gone on record and said sometimes he likes to have sex before his boxing matches. So everyone pretty much laughed at Wilder. Oh, man, he's a sore loser. He's a bum. Tyson Fury beat him down. But when I was watching that fight, I remember the same feeling I had in my gut, like when I was watching Margarito Cotto, the first fight. How someone was just getting pulverized and bloodied. And I'm sitting there like, damn, they need to stop it. He's going to kill him. Okay? But after the dust settled, there was something Deontay Wilder said about he had a dent in his skull. There was rumors about egg weights being used in gloves. Several guys out here with YouTube channels did multiple videos. By doing those videos, they got the subscriber base way up. But when you look at the gloves, right? And I'm going to say this. Deontay Wilder said he can't prove anything, but he knows Tyson Fury cheated. And when you look at, just look at the pictures I have here in the image that's on your screen. You see that one in the top left corner? Look how flat that glove is. There's no padding in there, okay? When you look at the image of the glove right below it, what is that round, protruding, bubbling looking object underneath that glove? Okay? It just, the one with the red circle here, it just doesn't look right. And when you come in the middle of the screen, it may be a little tough for you to see, but you look at the image that's showing the minutes of 6 minutes and 10 seconds, 8 minutes and 7 seconds. That green glove, the part on the knuckles is extremely, extremely flat. Extremely flat. Like padding's been removed from it. Then you look at the picture of the glove right below it. It's the exact same style glove. But look at how round and new it looks. Okay? And then you ease on over right to the right of the red glove, and you look at that glove that was on Fury's hand. And this is from the second fight. And you look at the wrinkles in that glove. Now, I've boxed. I've never fought professionally. I've done a lot of sparring. I've had a lot of gloves. And every glove, depending on the make of the glove, can be a little different. But I'm going to be honest with you. I've never seen gloves look flat like that. I've never seen gloves wrinkled up like that. I have seen, if you have gloves with horsehair in them and like 18-ounce gloves, and especially when I used to spar in Korea. In those gyms, they had some big funky gloves. Some of those damn things would flop around. But you're talking about 18-ounce gloves, man. Big. I mean, this was when I was in Korea. Ridiculous. But with these guys, but those gloves were, that were sprung were extremely old. But when you talk about guys who go into a professional boxing match and they have all these brand new gloves there in the wrapping, and you get to pick your gloves, I just don't understand how they can look broken down like that, or look like there's an object underneath the padding. You know, it wrinkled up like that and broken ends like that. You know, I know sometimes boxers will try to break in the gloves, but I've never seen it like that. So it made me say, you know what? People are just, there's no proof, and they're just running out here on a tangent and kind of being unfair to Tyson Fury is how I felt initially. Then you hear the kid, the sparring partners talking about Tyson Fury, moving padding, having egg weights, and all this foul play. The sparring partners coming out on record and saying this. And I'm like, man, that's crazy. So you got sparring partners saying Tyson Fury was doing foul stuff. You have Deontay Wilder saying that he believes that there was some cheating involved. Deontay Wilder fired Mark Breland, said he believes that, you know, somebody got to Mark Breland because Mark Breland had a good relationship with Sugar Hill, and Mark Breland had spent time in that Kronk gym. Now, there are a lot of people saying he was wrong for firing Mark Breland. I was one. But when you sit back and think about it, right? Because, see, at the time, I didn't even know Kinahan was involved with Tyson Fury. Again, for those, I didn't find out about this Kinahan crap till after the third Wilder fight. But after I found out that this Kinahan guy was involved, I said, you know what? Maybe we should pay attention. Because if you got an Irish mob boss who's known for all these horrible things, and he's involved in boxing, why isn't it possible, since everyone says boxing is a corrupt sport, so why is boxing not a corrupt sport when we talk about the possibility of maybe there was some foul play from Team Fury when it came to the Wilder fights? Now, all I'm doing is trying to bring some information to you guys. Some people are probably saying, well, there's no proof, we shouldn't be talking about it. But what I'm saying is, where there's smoke, maybe there's fire, okay? Because I've never seen gloves like that. I've never seen where someone comes out and makes these horrible allegations about you being a cheat. I've never seen, and you do nothing. Sparring partners coming out saying that you cheated and you do nothing. You just sit there and allow someone to slander your name and defame your character, okay? So I said, you know what? Yeah, there's smoke, there's fire, but there's still no proof. And I said, I'm just going to leave it alone. But I still couldn't quite wrap my head around those damn gloves. Now, after the second fight, and Deontay Wilder's thing about his costume, that was a little, you know, I didn't buy that either. But then you look at the third fight, right? And I'm watching. Now, I'm going to tell you, you can go back and watch that third fight. Deontay Wilder, there was someone saying how Tyson Fury was given a long count. In the first Wilder Fury fight, they're saying Tyson Fury was given a long count in the first Wilder Fury fight and was given a long counts in the third Wilder Fury fight. And I said, you know what? These people are reaching. There's no damn long count. So I went and watched it, the knockdowns. Now you go watch those knockdowns in that third fight. And you watch and you count. Oh, and I'm not talking about 1, 2, 3. No, not that fast count. You do a count the best you can is how these referees count. Now they're all different, right? And you see what number you end up at when Tyson Fury gets up, and you see what number that referee's on. And you look and watch how that referee stops counting, and he's looking over at the I don't know who the hell he was looking at, but he stops the count. And then after he picks back up, he's like two or three counts behind. All right? And I was like, That's crazy. Now, I'm not making this up. You go watch it for yourself. So I said, okay. Now, the time I went to watch this, by this point, I'm already up on the whole Kinahan thing. But I still said, you know what, man? It's kind of hard for me to sit here and want to say there was foul play. But, man, I was starting to say, man, something doesn't seem right. Being a common sense man, some things just weren't adding up. So I'm sitting there, and at this point, I'm thinking, man, maybe I should make a video about all of this. You got Tyson Fury, gets this guy, basically some muscle behind him. He comes back. He's getting Bob Arum to pay this guy millions of dollars to be a consultant. He makes his way into boxing, gets past a couple opponents, supposed to fight AJ, but that got blunted because Deontay Wilder forced his hand, the arbitration and everything. Gets in there with Wilder for the first fight, draw. Second fight, basically damn near killed him. And the third fight was very tough, but the referee looked to be some foul play, in my opinion. And I'm saying that because you can't take... Tyson Fury won the fights. But when I look at it, it does make me wonder if, in fact, some people were talked to, and for those of you saying, oh, this is bullshit, you're just out here, you should delete your YouTube channel. Okay. If it happened in goddamn Philippines, where the referee's coming out here saying he knows how to make the long count, all good referees know how to make a long count. If corruption happens in boxing, all I'm saying is, how can we say that it didn't happen? Okay? That's all I'm saying. I'm playing devil's advocate right now. So then I get beyond all that. The dent in the skull, x-rays, where are the x-rays? Where's the doctor report? This is what I'm saying. Okay? Because I'm like, oh, if we're going to roll with this, I need some more information. But at this point, I'm sitting here now, and I'm digesting it all. And then someone tells me about this glove with this, whatever's protruding through it. I look at that and I say, it looks a little funky, but I don't know. But then I find out, and I had no idea. Now, you guys know Conor Benn, right? Y'all know Conor Benn had all the ups and downs with the drug testing and all of that. You guys know about that, right? So check this out. I did, so let me break this down to you. The guy, right, who was working with Conor Benn, Dr. Usman Sajjad, he started working with Conor Benn, and he gave an extensive explanation on how to evade testing on the Quality Shot podcast, okay? And Tyson Fury, I didn't know this. He had been working with this same doctor going into the third Deontay Wilder fight. Now, you may say, well, so what? Well, let me read to you what this doctor said. Because remember, this doctor deleted his, well, we're going to get to that, right? So check it out, okay? This Dr. Usman, right? He claimed 80 to 90% of elite boxers are taking a range of drugs to cheat. This is what the doctor said. Now, at the time, he wasn't implementing any wrongdoing. But he spoke at length about the male menopause and how testosterone replacement therapy can be used to fight it. But now check this out. His Instagram account and personal website were deleted on October 4th, just as the news of Ben's failed test was breaking. Now, Tyson Fury, I did not know that this same guy who was behind Conor Ben's ped testing and everything, right? I didn't know Tyson Fury had any dealings with him and was working with him. But you may say, okay, so what's the big deal? Well, I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why it's a big deal, okay? Because this guy, Sajjad Usman, right? Let me make sure I'm saying his name right, because I think I'm getting it backwards. His name is Usman Sajjad. I should know the first name is Usman because I have a brother with that same name. So Fury went on to say this about the same doctor who's behind the whole cheating stuff with drugs for Conor Ben. It's the same doctor who deleted his website and his social media accounts. Fury said, Usman's a good guy. I've known him for about a year, and he works with quite a lot of boxers, and whatever happens, I would definitely say it has nothing to do with Usman. Usman will be working with me for my next fight. I trust him 100%. Now, that to me is crazy. Okay? So now, Dr. Usman rolling cap for Fury would have been that of a personal GP. I think that means general physician for training camp, and would help him with anything as simple as a common cold or an injury affecting him. So Sajjad's baffling, revealing comments that remain widely available online were, now listen to this. This is what this guy, Dr. Usman, said. If you're an elite level boxer, you know, pay-per-view, world-class European level, 80 to 90% are doing it, drugs, from what I'm seeing. So he just went and said 80 to 90% of elite boxers, he said European level, Tyson Fury's European level, Conor Ben, there's a whole lot of guys over there, right? They're doing drugs. He says, when I say doping, it's not just steroids. You've got IV fluid infusion after weigh-ins. You've got diuretics. You've got growth hormones. You've got testosterone replacements. Now check this out. In terms of excuses, I don't really believe them. Athletes know what's going to happen if they fail. Now this is what he's saying right after the whole thing with Conor Ben. Complete madness. So Sajjad went on to detail how the different testing systems work with limited funding and claimed only an idiot would get caught. This is what the doctor is saying. Only an idiot will get caught because of the different testing systems with limited funding. They should be able to get away with cheating. He said a lot of times and how the drug test, this is crazy. The drug testing system works. A lot of the fights in the UK, it's all urine testing. You have to be an idiot to fail a drug test in England because urine testing is just 72 hours. Most drugs are out of your system within 3 days. You would have to take drugs 2 to 3 days before you fight. The urine test is after a fight, whereas the one that trips up a lot of the athletes is if you sign up to the random drug testing, which WADA, the World Anti-Doping Agency, do. They will track you where you are and can turn up to your house whenever and do a blood test. With a blood test, they can catch things that have been there a month. However, you can get around the random drug testing because between the hours of 11 p.m. and 7 a.m., they are not allowed to come to your house. A lot of athletes can take fast-acting testosterone or growth hormones, which can only be in your body for 7 to 8 hours. You can take it at 9 to 10 p.m., and it will be out of your system by 7 a.m. There's ways to get around it, a lot of tricks. This is what this doctor is saying, who is sitting there in Tyson Fury's camp helping him, and Conor Ben's camp helping him. This is the guy who's in there. This is what he's saying. This is the guy who deleted his website, deleted his social media accounts. He's saying he knows how to get around all of this. Is that the kind of person you want on your team? Is Kinahan, someone who's involved in the Irish mob, is that the kind of person you want on your team? So when you think about that, right, does that not make you wonder if a person like Tyson Fury is willing to associate with these kind of people and then come out and defend these people? Let me tell you, man, you're guilty by association. And if you guys still want to sit here and say, well, there's no proof. Okay. You know what? Deontay Wilder said there's no proof. So I'm going to say there's no proof because Deontay Wilder said he's no proof. There's no proof. Deontay Wilder said he thought about suing and all that. He wasn't going to waste his time because he's messing up his money. All that money he's going to make fighting Tyson Fury, he wasn't going to go to the lawsuits and go that route. He was going to try to basically take justice into his own hands and try to beat Tyson Fury to death. You know what I'm saying? He gave it a good run. It didn't work out that way. But when you think about Tyson Fury being able to stand up to Deontay Wilder's shots, okay, why wouldn't we consider it fair to think that maybe this Dr. Usman was giving Tyson Fury something that would help him stay on his feet or get back to his feet after being knocked down by Wilder? All right? That's all I'm saying. You got a guy here who's saying he knows how to circumvent the system. There's different drugs and different things people could take. There's not just a matter of just taking pads. There's all kind of other things that you can get around that boxers aren't allowed to do that are illegal, but he knows how to help them get away with it. So what I'm saying is where there's smoke, there's fire. As far as Tyson Fury coming back to the States to fight, I just don't see that happening anytime soon. I think Tyson Fury knows that there's been foul play. I personally think there's been foul play. A lot of people aren't going to agree with this video. If you're still here watching, it's a 40-minute video. What I'm just trying to do is say, let's just have a conversation. I've taken the emotion out of it. I'm telling you right now, Deontay Wilder said there's no proof. But what I'm telling you is I'm a guy who's a black and white guy. Everything has to be explicit for me. Otherwise, I don't want to hear it. But after sitting back here for, over a year, hearing people talk about Wilder was cheated or no, Wilder wasn't cheated. Fury deserves to be banned from boxing. No, Fury doesn't deserve to be banned from boxing. Wilder's a whiner. No, Wilder's not a whiner. He's just all about his money. And I'm kind of in the middle dealing with the gray. But I'm going to tell you, when I look at these images of the gloves on Fury, I say, you know what? It doesn't look right. Then I leave it alone. Then when you think about corruption in boxing, I want to believe that there's not, but obviously there is. How Wilder got rid of Breland. Breland having a good relationship with the Kronk guys. Makes you feel a little bad for what happened to Breland. But then you think about this Kinahan guy being involved, wanted to get Tyson Fury on the path to unimaginable wealth, back to the top of heavyweight boxing. Tyson Fury referring to this man as a godsend. Bob Arum paying millions of dollars to this guy. Then you got this guy, this doctor who knows how to circumvent testing to get around all that to make sure these guys never pop positive with illegal testing. By him going on record and saying you just have to be dumb, especially with testing out there in the UK. Running his mouth so much that his ass is under investigation. So with that being said, all I ask is for people to just have an open mind. Maybe Deontay Wilder maybe he's not that crazy. That's all I'm saying. And if there's something I left out, and somebody say, oh, you left out the proof. I mean, I'm telling you, Wilder said there's no proof. But what I'm telling you is, you need to pay attention. You understand? You need to pay attention. If I don't need someone to tell me that something's not right, okay? I don't need someone to tell me something's not right. If I walk outside and I see the tire of my car is flat, I don't need someone to tell me that the tire is flat. Especially when I see a guy walking away from my car and he has an object in his hand that could have punctured the tire or do something. I'm a common sense man. I can piece things together. And when I look at this whole thing with Fury and Wilder And I take it all the way back to when Fury had them 3 years off after he defeated Klitschko, and his ups and downs with drug testing, his ups and downs with the media, ups and downs with weight. Now he comes back, no more issues with drugs, drug testing, got this guy in his corner, gets back to the top. How's he doing it? Getting through these fights with cuts, gets through the Wilder fight, get the long count in the first fight, some people say. I think it was kind of long too. Gets into the second fight, all this thing about cheating and everything else. All I'm saying is where there's smoke, there's fire, man. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And I tend to believe that something foul definitely took place. And I'm going to open this up for dialogue, man. So I appreciate you taking time to hang through here for this 45 minutes. If you want to see videos of people taking gloves and showing you the difference in different types of gloves, what flops, what doesn't, you can go do it. That's out there. That's not what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do was kind of bring together kind of where Tyson Fury was, the top of the boxing world, falling off, issues with drugs, issue with the media, and kind of timeline him hooking up with this guy Kindahan, how he was fast-tracked, hooked back up with Wilder, hooked up with his doctor who's all about circumventing drug testing and getting to the point to where he's at right now. This newfound power, okay? Now, Tyson Fury's always been a strong, big guy. You know, he's obviously strong. But this newfound power, okay, with this doctor who can help him get around these tests. That's all I'm saying. Take a look at it. Now, you form your own opinion, but I'm going to say where there's smoke, there's fire. And something just isn't right. And I hope sooner or later, just like with Pacquiao situation, somebody will come to the forefront and say, hey, this is kind of what happened. Because I just think that it's wrong that the possibility of foul play, and I definitely think there was some bullshit that took place. I do. But that being said, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Shout out to the veterans. I know people are going to have an opinion on this, but at the end of the day, that's just how I see it. Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.